So Keffals said, Metokur and his community constantly called me transphobic slurs, encourage harassment against me and other trans people. Metokur did not encourage harassment against you, ever. Just shut up, you fucking lying pile of garbage. Honestly, pathetic. He used his last days on this earth to be such a piece of shit instead of reflecting and doing something worthwhile. He won't be missed. This is in response to Keemstar saying, Metokur currently live on his last stream before he likely passed away from his battle with cancer. Jim was one of the most entertaining YouTube commentary streamers. Had the pleasure of being on the same streams with him in the past. He will be very much missed. What Keemstar said is true. What Keemstar said is true and respectful. What Keffals said is absolute bullshit. And what I said in response is, I love when someone who routinely attempts to bully and destroy people tries to take a moral high ground. Eat shit. You'd be walking garbage if you were thin enough to stand. Because Keffals is a pile of garbage, always has been, is a nasty, disgusting individual. And I don't just mean physically hideous, which is true, but I also mean just is a waste of human tissue. But of course, it's, it's amazing. Because what Jim did was just go laugh. That's what Jim did. He laughed. He laughed at a bunch of people, laughed at me, laughed at people I know, laughed at people I don't know. He just laughed. He didn't tell anybody to go do anything to them. He never asked someone to go brigade somebody or go make them feel bad or whatever. He just laughed at stuff. Who the fuck, just laughed. Sitting in his house laughing. Shared laughter with a bunch of people. And to see Keffals, who routinely encourages people to go after others, to try and destroy their lives and their livelihood, to try and take away things that people have. To see her like shitting on Jim? Gross. Gross. Savage Gerbil says, let's preface with, I really loved Iron Liz on your streams. Me too. Keffals is a monster. It's not being trans that makes him disgusting. It's them as a person. Yeah, I've never, by the way, I've never suggested that there's anything, wrong about being trans in general. It's always the circumstance. Is this person a minor? Whatever. Once you turn 18, do whatever you want. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. Like, I may not agree with your decision. I may have differing perspectives on the validity of what you feel or think, but I'm just me giving you an opinion. I'm not stopping you. I don't care what you do. When you're 18, as long as it's, within the bounds of law, like you go do the thing, I guess. Right? That's my thing. I know not everybody shares that, but I don't fucking care. You want to go chop your arms and legs off and roll around like a log, like do that, I guess. I don't agree. I think that might be a problem. I think you might run into some issues with that, but if you're over 18, I don't fucking care what you do at all. Just don't ask me to do something for you afterwards. Don't try to impose your choices onto me or anybody else. Don't ask us to accommodate what you do. We might accommodate what you do just out of politeness, but don't force us. Don't try to get the government involved. Don't try and come after our jobs or our livelihoods because we don't do what you ask. That's tyranny. And fuck you. But go do whatever the fuck you want. As long as you're not harming someone else, I don't really care that much. But yeah, so I did see what Keffals said about Metokur. He also said a couple of other things. And I won't pull them up because it doesn't really matter. That's a weird, gross beast that will. And I don't mean that physically, YouTube, because that might be against terms of service. I mean, philosophically, Keffals is a monster. And fat. Fat is an inherent characteristic, is it? Keffals has nice teeth, but is fat and ugly. There. How's that? People like Jim make their way. People like Keffals get astroturfed to their success and will be cast aside. That's the other part of Keffals. They'll be cast aside like chaff that they are. No one fucking cares about Keffals in the long run. A lot of people care about Jim. Keffals isn't a person. Keffals is an idea, an idol, a movement, a thing that is useful to a particular political ideology in the moment. And when they don't become useful, they stop getting recognized. They stop getting notoriety. People like Jim build up against the grain. They build up against the algorithm. They build up against society. Jim is not supposed to be popular. Jim was not supposed to be listened to. Jim is not a preferred voice. Jim gets demonetized. Jim gets thrown down the algorithm. Jim gets whatever. Jim's support is organic. You watch a monster like Keffals and you watch how the algorithm just throws them to the fucking moon as far as they can. And yet no one sticks around. Go look at the subscriber numbers. Go look at the engagement numbers off of bot-filled Twitter. Go look at the live streams and see what happens. See what happens when people are forced to engage the content and determine if they like it. Jim's never had a fucking problem with that because Jim was always funny and honest about who he was and what he was doing. Every time. Keffals is the quintessential useful fucking idiot. And it knows it.